We're here at the Port Townsend Film Festival. I'm Marcia Pearlstein, your friendly neighborhood interviewer, interviewing John Burgess, the director of One Small Hitch. Hi, John.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you. And I just want to say, One Small Hitch is your first feature-length film that you've
Yes,
you've
it's
directed.
my directorial debut of making my first feature, absolutely.
Your virgin experience. So what was that like?
Well, I directed a lot of things before and I produced quite a bit going through film school. So I made a lot of short films, music videos, commercials, things of that nature. But all of it was in preparation for the feature film experience. And it's kind of like, because you're directing one scene after the next, so it's sort of like doing a lot of short films all at once that has one cohesive story. So you're just doing a great deal more, but I think the short film experience prepared me well for it.
So how much of a hand did you have in the editing?
Incredibly hands-on. I mean, I did let the director who I had worked with in the past, his name is Ryan Kochelniak, and he had edited my short film with me. So we already had a really good rapport, and he lives in Chicago, from Chicago, went to Columbia. And I always, whether I'm working with an editor that I'm familiar with or someone new, it's good to give people some creative freedom, and they might come up with some things that you necessarily wouldn't have thought of. So when it came on a first pass with each scene, as we were going along, creating the whole structure, I would let Ryan do it, and then I would come in and watch it, and then we would dig in and start doing it together. Because first passes on editing are just like first passes on anything, writing or whatnot, they're usually not very good. So you have to dig in and keep trying things, and I wouldn't want to edit by myself anyway. I know some directors like to work that way. I wouldn't want to edit in a bubble. I think it's great to have additional people to sound off ideas and take a look at things. And Ryan and I work really well together, so I would definitely work with him again.
And Dodie, the screenwriter, how much that went into this screenplay was autobiographical?
Oh, there's nothing. The story itself is completely fabricated. The characters that are in there, I would say, are all based on people that have been either in Dodie's life or in my life. Dodie's name, his full name is Dodie B. Levinson. He is 100% Jewish, and he had the Jewish characters down pat. You know, their little idiosyncratic mannerisms and just things that, you know, the way they would say things and with the funny beats. Where he didn't have it right on the early draft that I read before I came in and started working with him, and we tinkered on it together, was the Irish side, and I'm Irish, so I was able to bring in all the scrappiness and the feistiness and the punches and whatnot to really make the Irish family feel more authentic. And that was based on a lot of people that I knew growing up, the same way he based the parents off of his parents and the sisters and stuff like that. So while the story is a fabrication, I would say that the characters themselves are based off of very real people that we've had in our lives.
It's interesting that you're saying that, because as a viewer, I saw, I knew the people. I felt like I knew them, both the Jewish and the Irish, because I'm kind of a multicultural guy.
You know, I think it's because families, by and large, are very similar, regardless of what your background or ethnicity or whatever it is, because mothers are mothers and parents are parents and so on and so forth. And then there are some specifics, but that was what it was. Is, you know, I wanted it to be the kind of story where you're watching it and you go, I know that guy. And when I read the script, I thought this is perfect for my first film, because it wasn't heavy on special effects, it wasn't something that I didn't already have in my repertoire. It was really witty, crack dialogue with great characters. So I just needed to cast the right people and then get them together on set and find and direct that chemistry. And when I read it, I said, I know these people, I can bring these people to life on the big screen. And it's been nice, because people, especially here, have been really responding to the story and to the characters and to the cast.
Well, it was truly a romp, and it had great energy. And were you surprised by the way it's been received? And can you tell a little bit about some of the awards you've received already?
Sure. Yes and no. I mean, we had so much fun making it, and I think that shows through on the screen. And Shane and Aubrey did such a fantastic job. They have incredible chemistry, and if they didn't, then the story would have fallen flat. But because they had such great chemistry and I was able to surround them with incredibly talented actors that are just naturally funny coming out of Second City and Improv Olympic and the amazing Chicago theater scene, it brought each scene in one way or another sort of to life. So I thought audiences would enjoy it. Did I think we would do as well as we have winning all these awards? No, that's a hope, not a no. Because it has been nice. I mean, we took Best Picture Comedy at CineQuest, which is a top 10 festival, and we had a wonderful experience, and I found my next project while I was there because of it.
Footnote, before you finish the other awards, what is your next project?
Oh, my next project is, it's an incredibly funny buddy comedy called They Might Be Kennedys, about two guys named Ted and John in the summer of 1989 that pretend to be Kennedys in Cape Cod, Massachusetts to pick up girls and get free stuff and live like American royalty for the summer. And they do all these crazy outlandish things, and whenever somebody's about to call them out on it, somebody goes, no, it's okay. They're Kennedys.
That sounds
so it's
fun.
got a Wedding Crashers aspect about them pretending to be something that they're not. And then the whole tone of the film is very Caddyshack, Animal House. It's based largely on all the great 80s comedies that myself and Ted and a lot of people like me love and just don't get made anymore. So
This is so
we're
interesting.
going to take it old school, which is what I did with One Small Hitch, too.
Yeah.
I took it very old school, like 16 Candles, Say Anything, films of that nature.
Well, what's so interesting is the synchronicity between kindred spirits, because Karen Allen is our featured guest for the film festival. Her first film was Animal House, so you're thinking about.
Wow,
those
I didn't think about that. Was that her first film?
Yes, that was the first film she was in.
That's fascinating.
And you're truly kindred spirits. She just came back from directing the person that was in your film.
Yeah, she just told me that in the lobby, that she just got done directing Aubrey in a play.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I interned at Lucasfilm. She worked for George a lot, so looks like Karen Allen and I are crossing paths in a number of ways. But that's fantastic.
That's really interesting, the kindred spirits that this festival draws, and you among them. So tell us some more of your
Awards-wise.
awards.
So yeah, Best Picture Comedy, California Independent. Best Picture Comedy, Sedona International. Best Feature Film, Omaha. I won Best Director at the Laugh or Die Comedy Film Festival. Just won Best Director at the Stony Brook Film Festival, which is in New York. We took Best Screenplay at the Los Angeles Comedy Film Festival. And Best Production Design, Hollywood, Real Independence.
Oh, that's plenty.
That's a lot.
That's
Yeah,
plenty.
there might be a couple more,
We're
yes.
not going to make you scratch your head
So
anymore.
It's been going well.
Yeah.
I've been pleased.
And where was the first place that you premiered it, in Chicago?
I did a cast and crew screening in Chicago, but no, the very first time it was screened was actually at the American Film Market, and then right after that was the California Independent, where we won an award, and then it just started going from there.
So is directing where you want to remain, or are there other things you want to do within the film industry?
I love directing because you're tied in with every single aspect of the film, from the casting to the cinematography. You work with every single person. I also love producing, but I don't know that I would produce something else that I wasn't going to direct anymore. I used to do that a lot on student films. Acting is fun. I usually will occasionally throw myself in some small part, Hitchcock style, or like what Quentin Tarantino or those guys do. I don't know if I'll continue to do that as I go on. For a while there, I did think I wanted to be an actor, but more and more I got pulled towards behind the scenes. I didn't go to Juilliard, I went to USC. So I think you have to pay attention to the choices that you're making for where you really want to be and maybe where you belong. I love working with actors, but I think I prefer being behind the scenes, sort of watching it and helping them to find their best performance instead of being in front of the camera trying to find the performance.
So you feel it as a collaboration. You help them find their best performance, and you have ideas also.
Absolutely, and they're helping me to tell the story. As an actor, when you truly love acting, you want to be doing it all the time. Whether it's a play or you're in a film, and that's the problem with being an actor in film, is that you've got control over your part. But when you're directing, you're working with all the actors to help mold every single performance, and then when it's all put in the can, now you're in the editing room, and it's you and the editor. But if you were an actor in the film, now you're off on another project, and it's going to be 6 months, maybe a year before you even really get to see the work that you did.
But you get to
So-
collaborate with each element of the film, the actors, the
Yes,
the
and that's
editor.
why I was saying that
Yeah.
I think it's more satisfying, and just for me, I personally enjoy directing more, and I find it more challenging and more gratifying to see, and then get the film out there. You know, then you go through the cringeworthy stuff. And I was telling some of the people at the Q&A I did downstairs that it was so nice to hear everyone laugh so much,
Yeah.
because when you make a comedy, your biggest fear is that no one's going to laugh. So it's just going to be a silent theater, and you said, hey, it's a romantic comedy, it's a comedy, you're supposed to laugh, and then nobody finds it funny. That's, it's like that fear that you have on stage where you feel like you're naked. So.
Well, I'm going to ask my last question because we're coming to a wrap-up of this interview, but then you'll have an opportunity to ask a question that I haven't asked and answer it. But my last one is, this feature and the one that you're projecting are both comedies. Do you see yourself staying in the comedy tradition or moving elsewhere?
For a while, I think when you're coming out of film school or out of the gates and you're going to do your first film, you're not going to get to go out and do Schindler's List or some, Lord of the Rings type movie. You're going to make a horror film or a comedy or something along those lines that's low risk, and you have to prove yourself. And then if you've proven yourself successfully, like I just did with a romantic comedy, then it makes sense that my follow-up should be a comedy. It doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic comedy, but it's a buddy comedy, grab right out of the next. But once I've gotten a few under and more people are willing to give me financing and take risks, would I love to make a Star Wars or Lord of the Rings trilogy someday? Absolutely, I would.
Except though it does sound like it's wise to start with comedy because it sounds like it's in your bones.
It is in my
You have a
bones.
comic spirit.
Yes, I do. I love it. And I actually think it's a lot harder to make people laugh than it is to make them cry, especially in the terms of film, because you can manipulate the senses so much with dramatic music, and
Right.
it's easy to make people sort of feel sad when they wouldn't necessarily feel sad. But to make people laugh when they don't find something funny, that's impossible to do. You can't fake laugh.
Well, and that's why it's so remarkable that you have such a comfort level with comedy for your first things out of the box, your first large.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So
I got lucky with great actors.
what haven't I? Oh, you're just modest. What haven't I asked you that you think people need to know that are going to view this interview?
The main thing is, if you're interested in finding out about the film, we have a website that's all set up. It's the name of the film. It's www.onesmallhitch.com. No spaces, just how it's spelled. And there's links to Twitter and Facebook, and I've always got everything posted about what festivals we're playing and whatnot.
So it's modern times, technology, folks. You want to see more of this young man? Just go onto the website. Thank you so very much. It's been a
Thank
real
you very much.
pleasure.
It's great being here.
One Small Hitch. Get to it if you haven't gotten to it yet.
That's great.